Right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create our flat vector illustration landscape um, design. This is your first project in Adobe Illustrator, so be kind to yourself and be patient. All right, we're going to start with looking at what we're going to be doing first of all. So in Google Classroom, I have posted some examples. So if you want to click on either one of these links, one of them will lead to landscape designs, and the other one is going to lead to a cityscape design. So this is essentially what we're going to create. If you look at these pictures and break them down, essentially all they are shapes, okay, with different colors for shading and highlights. All right, so what you're going to do is you are going to pick one to try to replicate. It doesn't have to be perfect, just so you can get an idea of where you want to go with your thought process once you get into Illustrator. Okay, so you're going to pick one of these and we're going to save it and open it up in Illustrator right next to our file. So I'm going to pick a really simple one for this process. So let's just use this one. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so let's start here. So here, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to save image. Actually, let's do copy image. That should work. So we're going to copy the image and then we're going to go to Illustrator. I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to make mine 8.5 by 11 inches. I'm going to change my title of my document to my first initial, last name, underscore flat vector. Can be one word, that's fine. I want it to be 11 by 8.5 inches, so I'm going to type in 11 by 8.5 because I want it to be landscape orientation. Make sure this is set to inches, and then I'm going to hit create. All right, once in here, that doesn't look like the right size. I think I put the wrong numbers in. If you put the wrong numbers in, what you're going to do is click on your artboard tool right here. And then up here, you're going to come in and change some settings. So I wanted it to be 11 inches wide by 8.5 inches high. Okay, so once I have that, I just hit return and it will fix it. Okay, so now I copied that image. Remember, I copied it a second ago. Let me zoom out real quick. Let me go to my move tool. And it should still be on my clipboard. So I'm going to paste it. So I'm going to go Command V and it'll paste it right here. Okay. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. So I'm going to hold the Shift key and get this double arrow and I'm going to shrink it down while I'm holding Shift. If I don't hold Shift, what happens is it will stretch out my image and I don't want that. Okay. So when you shrink down or resize your images in Illustrator, you always want to hold Shift. Okay, so we're going to put it off to the side right here, just so it's hiding. Then I'm going to start drawing. So I'm going to start with my background and I'm going to move my way forward. Okay, so I'm going to use my shape tool, my rectangle tool, and I'm going to start in the background, just draw a background shape. And I'm going to change the color to blue. Now this blue, I can pick this blue if I wanted to. So if I go to my eyedropper tool and I click on a color, it will change my shape that's selected to whatever color I'm clicking on. Okay, so I'm going to change it to this color. The next thing I'm going to do is lock my background in place. So I'm going to have my layer panel open. If your layer panel is not open, you're going to go to Window and then Layers and make sure it's checked. So we want our layer panel open. So every time you create something in Illustrator, it's going to give you a layer. Okay, this is our picture over here, and this one is our background. I'm going to lock this layer. So right here, I'm going to click on this box and just lock it in place. That way, when I add anything new, it's not going to move my artboard or my background. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is to draw my clouds. Okay, so I'm going to draw my clouds. We haven't used the shape builder tool yet, so this is a new tool, okay? So to draw my clouds, I'm going to go in, pick a couple circles or ellipses, or make a couple ellipses, and just click, and I'm going to change the color to white. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see this a little bit better. So what I want to do is overlap my clouds. So again, like I said, it does not have to be an exact replication of the picture that you chose. Okay, you're going to put your own spin on this design. I'm just making some clouds. All right, so I have them all here stacked on top of each other. And now what I'm going to do is select all of them at the same time. So I'm going to put my cursor right at the edge, like over here or up here. And I'm going to click, hold the click down, and draw my selection, or select my objects, okay? This selects everything. You can tell they're selected by these dots right here. This means this is what's selected, okay? So I'm going to use my Shape Builder tool. Your Shape Builder tool is right here. And what this tool does, it allows you to drag through and merge all of these shapes together. So I'm going to hold the click down and I'm just going to drag through all of my shapes. Okay. And I got to get that little piece. All right. So now it's one big piece. Now when I go to move it, it's all selected. It's all the same piece. Okay. So what you can do, I'm going to actually add one more little piece right here because I don't like how that's looking. I'm going to use my Shape Builder tool again and drag through. Okay, there we go. So instead of, excuse me, replicating this over and over again, what I'm going to do is make a copy, okay? So if I hold the Option key down, I'm going to get this double arrow. And I'm going to click and drag over. This will make a copy. I can rotate this. I can move it any way I want. I can add additional pieces to it and make it look a little bit different than that first one using my Shape Builder tool again. Okay? So just make a couple, if you're making clouds, you don't have to make clouds, but if you do, just make a couple more. If you want to make any other kinds of shapes, you can do that with the Shape Builder tool. All right, so I'm going to repeat the process of making clouds. I'll make a couple clouds. If I wanted to make a sun, I could make a sun up in the sky. So Option and Shift will make a perfect circle. And remember, I don't want this to be an exact replica of that one that I have. So let's go with the sun. And then if I wanted to put some little waves, I could use the line tool, which is this one right here. And I could just draw out some lines. So I'm not seeing my lines. That means I have to make sure that my stroke color is turned on and it has a stroke weight. Okay, so if you draw a line and you don't see it, that's why. You got to make sure it has a color and it has a stroke weight. All right, so if I go back in and click that one, I can go and change it. Okay, so I can continue repeating this process. So what you're doing is you're looking at your landscape and you're just breaking it down piece by piece. Okay, to get the shadow and highlights, you just add a darker color of a shape or a lighter color of a shape. Okay, so if I made that box, let's see, let's fill it in with a color. Let's go with green. Turn this off. And so let's say I wanted it to have a shadow going across. What I could do is use my pen tool and let's see, I don't know if this is going to work. It'll delete it. So I'm going to lock this piece right here and then I can go in and make a shadow using the pen tool and just drawing out a shape. Right now it's the same color. I'm going to come in and maybe make it a little bit darker. Okay, that's how you would get that shadow effect. So anytime you don't want to modify a shape that you've already created, you're just going to lock it in place. Okay. When you're all done getting your, oh, let me show you one more thing with the Shape Builder tool. So if you make a, I don't know, this could be for anything. If you want to subtract pieces from your shapes, let me do 2 circles. And I'm going to select both of them. If I wanted to subtract this middle piece instead of group them together for whatever reason, if I go to my Shape Builder tool and I hold Option, it's going to bring up that minus. If I click in here, it's going to subtract. Okay, so now I have 2 separate pieces. I could right click and let's see if it'll ungroup them. Oh, yeah, they are ungrouped. So if I select one of those pieces, now I've broken those apart and I've made a completely different shape. Okay. So you might find that handy to make a crescent moon. So let's make a perfect circle and then make another copy of that. So holding Option, I'm going to click and drag and just kind of bring it over. So to make a crescent moon, let me change this color to see where I want my shape to be. All right, that looks pretty good. So if I wanted to make a crescent moon, I would select both of those pieces, go to my shape builder, hold the Option key and click and drag through, okay? And then that subtracts from that piece, and now I have a crescent moon without having to draw it out with the pen tool. All right, so see what other shapes you can build using the Shape Builder tool, either removing or adding pieces to it. When you are all done, you are going to get rid of this piece. So we have to go, oh, it's not locked. We're going to click on it and just hit the delete key. If you go outside your box, if your artwork for some reason maybe extends outside your artwork and you want it to look nice and cohesive, like you want to cut it off, what you're going to do is called a clipping mask. Okay, so the clipping mask will hide whatever is outside your artboard. So to make a clipping mask, you're going to click on your rectangle tool and you're going to click and drag across your artboard. It doesn't matter what fill color this has. I'm going to drag across my artboard and then I'm going to click. Make sure everything is unlocked or this won't work. And then I'm going to select everything on my artboard. Command A is the shortcut to select all. Okay. I'm going to right click and hit Make Clipping Mask. When I do, that cuts off everything outside of my artboard. Okay. When I'm done, I'm going to save my file. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to put it in my Google Drive folder. Go to My Drive, go to my graphics projects, and I'm going to make sure this is named my name and then flat vector. I'm going to save it as an Illustrator file and export it as a JPEG file. So I'm going to go to File, Export, Export As, and then change. I don't need to go back and put it in my drive because I'm already there. If it says graphics project right here, I'm just going to change my format type right here to a JPEG. Next week, we are going to create a website, and this is the first thing that's going to go on there. I want to make sure that my resolution is set to 300, and I'm going to hit OK. All right, and then you're going to turn it in. So I just put little bits and pieces on here. You're going to create a whole either cityscape, landscape, spacescape, ocean, scenery, something, landscape with the shape tools. Okay.